Slide 1, Introduction to Oscar Wilde, 1854 to 1900. Today we're learning about a writer who was both funny and thoughtful. His name was Oscar Wilde, and he had a talent for using clever words to make people think deeply. By the end of this lesson, you'll know who he was, what he believed, and why his stories are still read today. Please write today's date and the lesson title, Introduction to Oscar Wilde, at the top of your notes. Slide 2, Who was Oscar Wilde? Let's begin with who Oscar Wilde was. Oscar Wilde was an Irish poet, playwright, and novelist. He was born in Dublin in 1854 and died in 1900. He became famous for writing a novel called The Picture of Dorian Gray and a play called The Importance of Being Earnest. But Wilde wasn't just known for his stories. He was also known for his sharp wit. That means he could think quickly and say clever things that made people laugh or think. Wit is more than just telling jokes. It's about using smart humor that sticks with people. Let's all say the three kinds of writing he did together: poet, playwright, novelist. Slide 3, What was the world like in Wilde's time? Oscar Wilde lived during a time period called the Victorian era, which lasted from 1837 to 1901. This was a time when people were expected to be serious, proper, and religious. There were very strict rules for how people were supposed to act, dress, and speak. At the same time, new cities were being built, science was making big discoveries, and inventions were changing everyday life. Some writers and artists began to ask big questions about what truly mattered. Wilde stood out with his bold style, clever jokes, and deep questions. He didn't always follow the rules of society. Instead, he made people think about why those rules existed in the first place. Talk to your partner for a moment about this question. Why might an author want to challenge the rules of their time? Then write one idea in your notes. Slide 4, Oscar Wilde and the Aesthetic Movement. Oscar Wilde was part of a group of artists called the Aesthetic Movement. They believed that art should be enjoyed for its beauty alone, not because it teaches a lesson. Their big idea was called art for art's sake. Wilde loved bold colors and fancy clothes. He didn't try to blend in. He became one of the public faces of this movement. But Wilde also used his writing to question what happens when people love beauty too much. His writing sometimes explored the positive and negative sides of loving beauty too much. He celebrated beauty, but he also warned that it could distract people from what really matters. Slide 5, Turn and Talk Beauty. Let's think about this together. What is one good thing and one bad thing that can happen when people care a lot about beauty? Here's one idea. Beauty can inspire people to be kind or creative, but it can also make people ignore someone's character or how they treat others. Talk to your partner about this, then write your favorite example in your notes. Slide 6, Wilde's writing style. Now let's talk about how Wilde wrote. His style was playful and thoughtful. He used fun and imaginative writing to explore serious ideas. That means his stories were entertaining, but they also made readers think. He included moral lessons in his stories, which are lessons about right and wrong behavior. Even when a story seemed funny or magical, there was usually a deeper message hidden inside. Wilde understood that sometimes using humor can make a serious idea easier to understand and remember. Slide 7, Witty Writing, Favorite Quote. Let's read a few quotes from Wilde. These are great examples of his wit. Listen to each one and choose your favorite to copy into your notebook. Be sure to also write down one reason why you like it. Quote 1, I think that God, in creating man, somewhat overestimated his ability. Quote 2, the world is a stage, but the play is badly cast. Quote 3, always forgive your enemies, nothing annoys them so much. Quote 4, it is absurd to divide people into good and bad. People are either charming or tedious. Quote 5, the only thing to do with good advice is pass it on. It is never any use to oneself. Take a few seconds to pick one, then write it down with a quick note about why it stood out to you. Slide 8, Understanding Wilde's Wit. Let's look at what these quotes really mean. That first one is saying that people often fall short of their potential, even though they were made for great things. The second one compares life to a play, but says people are often in the wrong roles. The quote about forgiving your enemies reminds us that forgiveness is powerful, and sometimes it even bothers the person more than arguing would. The one about good and bad points out that we often judge people by whether they're interesting, not whether they're kind. And the final quote about advice, it shows that people love to give advice, but rarely follow it themselves. Wilde used humor to help people see the truth in surprising ways. Slide 9, Wilde and Religion, Part 1. Religion was something Wilde thought about a lot. He had mixed feelings about religion during his life. He was born into a Protestant family, which is one branch of Christianity, and was later baptized into the Catholic Church, another Christian group, just before he died. This shows us that Wilde was still searching for answers throughout his life. Switching faith traditions might have given him new ways to see the world and to write about it. Slide 10, Wilde and Religion, Part 2. Even though Wilde sometimes joked about religion, he took moral questions seriously. Sometimes he made sarcastic or playful comments about religion, but keep in mind his comments could cause trouble in a society that expected respect for faith. Still, Wilde's stories often included deep values. His stories often show Christian values like love, kindness, forgiveness, generosity, sacrifice, and redemption. So even if he used humor to question things, he still believed that how we treat others really matters. Slide 11, Turn and Talk, Values. Now it's your turn to think about these values. Choose one to focus on: love, kindness, forgiveness, generosity, sacrifice, or redemption. How can showing that value in a story help readers think about right and wrong? Talk to your partner for a minute, then jot your answer in your notes. Slide 12, Fun Facts. Let's wrap things up with a few fun facts about Oscar Wilde. His full name was Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde. That's a lot of names. He once toured the United States and even met the famous American poet Walt Whitman, and his gravestone in Paris has angel wings on it. For years, fans would kiss the stone. So many people did it that a glass wall had to be built around it to keep it from wearing away. Even after all this time, people still admire Oscar Wilde. Slide 13, What to Look For in the Story. As we read today's story, I want you to pay attention to a few things. First, look for the moral lesson Wilde is teaching. Next, notice how he builds an imaginative world. And most of all, watch how the main character changes. That kind of change is called character development. As you read, underline any sentences that show the character's heart is starting to change. That will help you track the message Wilde is sharing.